Hi, and welcome to the channel. My name is Lynn D. Jung. I am a speculative fiction author who talks about writing, books, and whatever else I feel like talking about on this channel. It is June 22nd, and that is relevant because this is the first part in a vlog series where I'll just be showing how I write a book. I haven't finished a new manuscript since my first year of college, which was 4 years ago. So this is very exciting for me because I will be trying to finish a book basically by October 1st, which is when my vacation ends because I will be resuming school, kind of. Technically, it's not school. I'm doing this whole study abroad program thing, but that doesn't really matter. The point is I have from now until October to write a book from the ground up. I have a couple of different ideas to choose from, so I figured the first part of this little Write With Me series could be just me working through ideas, my billions of ideas, and then picking one to actually focus on for the rest of the summer. I do have to apologize because I've been meaning to start this series for weeks. I don't even know when my school let out. I just haven't been on top of my shit lately, but I'm working things out. I am figuring stuff out, and I really do want to write a book this summer. It has been a while. I have some ideas that I'm actually really excited about. Yeah, so I'm gonna take you on my little brainstorming journey today, and then we'll kind of see what happens. I have a day off, so I might film some other stuff as well. We'll see. I really want to get a jump start on this novel writing process, so I am going to go out, find some productivity elsewhere. My rules for today are that I can't spend any money. I've been spending way too much money for the amount that I actually make at my job, which is not a lot. So I am going to save my wallet for once and just sort of find a nice outdoorsy area to work at, not a cafe or anything like that, just maybe a garden area, maybe the beach, something nice, something outside. And I will put on sunblock because this spot right here, that happens when I go outside without wearing sunblock and my skin punishes me for it. So yeah, I'm going to have a little quick breakfast that I will whip together and then take my handy dandy writing notebook. I got this cheap $5 notebook, but it's nice. It has sections and stuff. Anyway, I got it specifically to start planning out and writing notes about this book that I have yet to decide on that I'm going to be writing this summer. Oh, other thing, what I've been reading lately is... My phone was under my microphone. I have been getting more and more arcs lately, and I don't know how. I really feel like a criminal because I talk about books once every 3 months on this channel, but I'm yeah, totally. I review books on my YouTube channel. Currently, I have been reading Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. I'm not even going to show the cover because I don't know how to do that on NetGalley. I'm so incompetent. I should not have access to this. It has been really great so far. I'm about 14% in. Really enjoying it. Historical period is the 30s, so the cusp of World War II. That's really exciting. I love that time period, especially that time period in terms of the Asian continent and what it was up to. But most of my personal focus and research has been on Korea during that time period, so it's super interesting to learn about China during that time period. And I've said time period too many times. As you can tell, my energy is a little bit all over the place because I am so hungry. So I'm gonna make myself a quick, healthy breakfast. Thank you for bearing with me. I swear to God, I will calm down. And then, just throughout the day as I'm figuring this stuff out, I'm just going to talk to you guys and update you. I guess I could talk about the ideas that I'm trying to select between. I have a couple. One is that dark academia adult fantasy I've been working on forever. I've revamped it quite a bit, so it is basically a different concept. That one is more developed and fleshed out, and I do have pages written for it. The second one is a young adult fantasy retelling. That one is a little bit less fleshed out just in terms of plot and world building. The characters are actually a lot more complete than the ones in the adult fantasy, which is very interesting to me. And then I have a little bit of I can't think of the word. This happens to me way too often for someone who claims to be able to write a book. But it is basically a young adult urban fantasy with heavy horror elements that I get scared thinking about it at night. So those are sort of my 3, and I will be developing those ideas, trying to come up with solid pitches, like playing with the characters and seeing if I can mash any of them together maybe to make something more complete. They're all really different, so I doubt that'll be the case, but hopefully like I can figure something out, some sort of compromise. Because yeah, those will all be vastly different writing experiences. I will say in terms of my like personal creative flow, all of my ideas are feeling a little bit heavy right now. And I want to write something lighter. I have been like struggling a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about it, but like I'm sick of feeling like down. I have been trying to infuse a little bit more of that like upbeat positivity into my life. However false and flimsy it is, I don't really care as long as I can like get it into my brain somehow. Yeah, there's like a small chance I might swerve completely off and write like some cottagecore shit. I don't know. It's not really my brand. I've never written anything cheerful in my life, but maybe I will find some inspiration today. Today is just all about brainstorming and figuring out what direction I want to take, what I want to dedicate myself to for the next couple months. I actually have like a whole breakdown. This is like way too long of an intro, and I will cut it down, but I do have a whole breakdown of how I want the series to go, so just to give you like a flyover. Part 1 will be idea development, which is right here, right now. Part 2 will be the synopsis and pitch. Part 3 will be detailed outlining, and then Part 4 will be just a bunch of drafting vlogs. I think I might do one every couple weeks or something like that. And then in between I'll do like my regular sort of talking about writing or books or whatever. And then I'll be doing solo revisions, Part 5, beta readers and their feedback, Part 6. Part 7, developmental edits based off of beta reader feedback. Part 2 would be beta readers again, because I always do multiple rounds of critique with different groups of people and also the same groups of people. You'll see. It's very involved. Revisions is like most of what I do. I revise so heavily. Developmental edits 2 would be Part 9, and then Part 10 would be line and copy edits and final reads, and then I would sort of like send it to my agent, I guess. My poor agent. I'm always like, yeah, I'll totally work on this thing that I said I'd work on, and then I just fucking do something else. You know, it's the joys of having some sort of ADHD, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so that is all for now. I am going to eat, like I said, and then just sort of take all my stuff and migrate outside into the great outdoors and see what happens. Okay, see you in a bit. Yes, I drank my coffee out of stolen pint glasses from my local pizza place. And yes, this is disgusting, and no one should drink this but me. I tried to make one of those Dalgona coffees, but completely fucked up the ratios, so I'm getting like intermittent mouthfuls of pure espresso powder, and it's really gross. But I kind of like it. I also wanted to show you guys something else, which is that I've actually made my shit kind of like pretty. I, as you guys know, was struggling with Scrivener before, and like I realized that it is because it didn't look nice, and now that I've made everything like really aesthetic, it has made it so much more enjoyable to work on, and this would be the young adult urban fantasy horror that I was talking about. So I obviously did not end up going outside because this took a lot less time than I thought it would. I was really conflicted at first. I was struggling to pick between those 3 ideas that I mentioned: the adult dark academia, the young adult fantasy retelling, and the young adult urban fantasy / horror. And ultimately I ended up picking the young adult fantasy retelling, even though it's kind of the idea I'm the least excited about, which I've been working on. I've just been generally struggling to find ideas that I'm passionate about lately, but I made a little like pros and cons list for each of them. I'm just going to talk through my process a little bit. I think I might as well just go ahead and film the second part of this vlog, which will be like the outlining process. It'll be a separate video, but or not the outlining, but the pitch synopsis and then outlining. I don't know. I just kind of want to get stuff done today. It feels like one of those days. Anyway, so this is, yeah, a young adult retelling. It is a fantasy. It is secondary world. And I have had this idea rattling around in my brain for a while. My agent approved it like a really long time ago based off the pitch, which has since slightly changed. But the thing is, while this had a very sort of catchy commercial pitch, what's that called? High concept. It's like a high concept book, but I don't have a plot for it outside of the concept, and that is starting to come together a little bit more. Like, I am starting to figure out what direction I want to go with this, but ultimately I decided on this one because the adult dark academia is like difficult to write. It is a lot of really heavy stuff that's very personal, and I know I want to take longer than a summer to really do that properly. And sort of the same goes with the young adult horror / urban fantasy. That one is like kind of the reason that I've been drawn to that particular project is because there's an element of it that is very, very true and personal to me. But it's sort of something that's happening right now. So I think I need a little bit more distance from like that aspect of my real life before I can tackle it in fiction. That's all really vague. I just don't feel comfortable talking about it yet. I'm really sorry. For a little bit there, I thought it might be a good exercise for me to process those things as they're happening to me in fiction, but I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't want to like mess up that representation, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go with sort of like the easy way out, but not really, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with this project still. So that's what the rest of today is gonna be. But that wraps up my development stage. I have 2 pages of just a pros and cons list and like some theme things, world building, just notes, and I'm going to start to coalesce that with, I'm definitely one of those like notes app people. I just kind of wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and then jot something down in my notes app and then figure it out later. So that is sort of what I'm going to be doing for the second part of this vlog. But yeah, this isn't even really a vlog. I'm just sort of talking, and there was one clip of me scribbling things, so I'm great at this. But, you know, I promise the rest of the series will be moderately interesting. I just had to do the slow start so you could see every step of the process for me. Okay, so next up is going to be developing a synopsis and pitch. I always start my books with a pitch and a synopsis so I can really get, well, the pitch for this is already done, but the synopsis for sure. Writing a full like synopsis like you would put into a submission package is a huge part of my process just because it helps me unscramble my thoughts and figure out the plot in the simplest way possible, and then from there I can build upon that 1 to 2 page mini outline to do my actual outline. My outlining process is a little bit nuts, so that'll be a fun video. Hopefully I get to do that today, but we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to take my thumbnail for this, I guess, and then go and do the rest of this vlog thing. Yeah, God, I'm so behind that I'm like, oh, I have a free minute, so I'm gonna do everything today. But we'll see how much I can get done today, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.